Hello and welcome to the Pokemon Iceberg. My name's Nate and we have quite the deep dive to go through. If you've watched my first Iceberg, the Animal Crossing Iceberg, you already know this, but for those new to my videos, I wanted just to take a moment to let you know that I will not use jump scares or super creepy music throughout this video, so feel free to take this opportunity to get comfy, grab a drink, a snack, or a blanket, and just chill out. That's all we're doing. Before we begin though, I just want to make sure to emphasize to thank everyone for subscribing and watching my last Iceberg. It's been incredibly heartwarming and inspiring to say the least. But let's get on with this Iceberg because I have at least 25 pages of notes to cover. But before we start that, I do want to include two honorable mentions because while they're not on here, I feel that they are incredibly well known and probably now some of the most popular parts of Pokemon in general. First one being Lavender Town. I know there's the Lavender Town creepypasta that goes in hand with the weird frequencies and all that. I feel like Lavender Town is such a staple in terms of like getting into Pokemon, so I felt it necessary to mention it here. The other one is Pokemon Creepy Black, because what's good lore other than creepy stories? And while this one is very creepy, it is also a work of fan fiction along with the Lavender Town frequency stuff. So I do want to mention them because I think they are definitely worth mentioning before we start. A lot of this Iceberg is based on things more that are canon in the Pokemon series or in real life, but I do think that they deserve a shout out. So with that, let's get into Layer 1. Event Pokemon. Event Pokemon are Pokemon that are distributed at promotional events such as movie premieres, expositions, festivals, places like PokePark, real-life Pokemon Center stores, toy stores, and sometimes found in bonus discs or specially transferred from another game. Starting in Generation 5, the game contained moves that cannot be accessed in-game by means other than events. These are moves that are already known by distributed event Pokemon, not moves that can be learned by level up by event-exclusive Pokemon. Event Pokemon typically have a special original trainer and ID number indicating their authenticity and usually a special promotional ribbon from Generation 3 onwards. From Generation 4 onwards, most event Pokemon are distributed in Cherish Balls, special Pokeballs that exist solely for event distribution. Event Pokemon are usually desired because they are hard or impossible to find in the games, holding a rare item and or know at least one special move that would otherwise be impossible to have. Some Pokemon are distributed with a specific nature, gender, ability, or shininess, while others may leave one or more of these random, though shininess is usually strictly fixed one way or another. For Pokemon obtained in Generation 4 onwards, the dates do not need to be the dates the events were held. This is because the date is based on the one set on the handheld system. Generation 4 introduced the distribution of promotional events via Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. At first, only key items were distributed. These items allowed players to enter areas normally inaccessible. In June 2009, Pokemon began being distributed via Wi-Fi as well as the distribution of a Jirachi. Owners of the Japanese versions of the Sinnoh-based games, no matter where they were, could use Wi-Fi to receive the Pokemon. Later on, Japan began having distributions occurring simultaneously via events and over Wi-Fi. In March 2010, the Pikachu-colored Pichu became available for North American and PAL versions of Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. This became the first Pokemon event to be available to non-Japanese games via Wi-Fi. There are very few countries or areas of the world where events tend to be held. Japan, the US, Canada, South Korea, Australia, and various countries of Western Europe. While it is not unheard of for event Pokemon to be distributed outside of these countries, it is incredibly rare. Some countries may see several years pass between promotional events, and a majority of countries have never even had a local event. The establishment of wireless internet has made the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection a much better distribution model to reach Pokemon players around the world. Mobile games. This entry is a bit vague, but I was a bit surprised at just how many Pokemon mobile games and apps exist. Here's a list of all of them: Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Cafe Remix, Pokemon Smile, Pokemon Home, Pokemon Rumble Rush, Pokemon Masters EX, Pokemon Pass, Pokemon TV mobile app, Pokemon Trading Card Game, Card Decks, Pokemon Quest, Pikachu Talk, Pokemon Playhouse, Pokemon Magikarp Jump, Pokemon Duel, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Shuffle Mobile, Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. There's not much else to say about this, so let's move on. Pokemon Home and Pokemon Bank. This is an overarching entry. We must start with what was released first though. Pokemon Bank is a downloadable online application for the Nintendo 3DS that is available on the eShop. It serves as a complement to the Pokemon storage system and is compatible with Pokemon's X, Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Pokemon Home is a cloud service for the iOS, Android, and the Nintendo Switch. It serves as a complement to the Nintendo Switch Core Series games and is a successor to Pokemon Bank and the Pokemon Global Link. It was released worldwide on February 12, 2020. They both serve as ways to store Pokemon in a cloud-based way, making transfers between different Pokemon games. Pokeball Plus. The Pokeball Plus is a game controller device shaped like a Pokeball that was released on November 16, 2018. It can connect to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Sword and Shield. The Pokeball Plus, along with its motion control capabilities, includes two buttons, a top button and a control stick in the center, which acts as both a clickable button and a joystick. I've always personally liked these, but could never justify paying the $60 extra that they initially cost. Special Edition Consoles. Pokemon has a large array of Special Edition consoles. It's almost like a trope to wait for whatever Nintendo console is currently out to get a special Pokemon Edition release. I really don't have to do this, but I said screw it, why not? Let's go ahead and show you and talk about every single Special Edition console as of the recording of this video. Let's start with the Sega Pico Pikachu Edition. A yellow Sega Pico that has Pikachu's face on the front came bundled with Pokemon Advanced Generation, I've Begun, Hiragana, and Katakana. Game Boy Light Special Pokemon Edition. Released only at Pokemon Center Tokyo, it depicts Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Horsey, and Lapras. It has Pokemon Center Tokyo written on the bottom and was released to tie in with the first Pokemon movie. Game Boy Color Pokemon Yellow Version Edition. A yellow Game Boy Color released in a bundle with Yellow Version. It features Pikachu, Jigglypuff, and a Togepi. Pokeball serves as the power indicator. In Australia, this version was released on its own as a Pokemon Special Limited Edition. Pikachu and Pichu Edition. A yellow Game Boy Color released worldwide. Features Pichu and Pikachu next to the screen. Pikachu's right cheek serves as the power indicator light. Gold/Silver Pokemon GS Edition. A variant of the Pikachu and Pichu Edition Game Boy Color. It appears gold or silver depending on the angle and lighting. Clear Green Pokemon Edition. A clear green Game Boy Color sold in Taiwan only. It features Pikachu, Jigglypuff, and a Meowth. A Pokeball serves as the power indicator. Clear Blue Pokemon Edition. A clear blue version of the clear green Game Boy Color. Sold in Hong Kong only. Pokemon 3rd Anniversary Edition. An orange and blue Game Boy Color created to commemorate the 3rd anniversary of the Pokemon franchise. It was sold in Japanese Pokemon Centers only and features the Generation 1 starters and Pikachu on the front. Pokemon Center GS version. A silver-colored Game Boy Color released in Japan to tie in with the release of Gold and Silver. It was sold in Japanese Pokemon Centers only and features the Generation 2 starters and Pikachu on the front. Nintendo 64. Blue Pikachu Nintendo 64. A blue N64 released in Europe and the United States. A relief of Pikachu adorns the top of the console. The Pikachu's left foot serves as the reset button, while the power button is a Pokeball. The extension port was removed, making the Nintendo 64 DD unusable. Included was a matching blue and yellow controller with the Pokemon logo. Light Blue Pikachu Nintendo 64. A lighter blue version of the Pikachu N64 only released in Japan. Included was a matching blue and yellow controller with a Pikachu logo. Orange Pikachu Nintendo 64. An orange version of the Pikachu N64 only released in Japan. Included was a matching orange-yellow controller with a Pikachu logo. Pokemaniac Nintendo 64. This special Pokemon edition of the console was released in Australia and Europe only. Included was a yellow-blue controller with the Pokemon logo, and the PAL version of Pokemon I Choose You. Nintendo GameCube. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness Edition. Released in Japan and the US only. Shadow Lugia is depicted on the lid. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness decals. These decals were only available by pre-ordering the game. They depict Shadow Lugia, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. Pokemon Channel Edition is the spice-colored orange GameCube and controller with the Pokemon Channel logo and silhouettes of the 3rd Gen starters and Pikachu. Game Boy Advance, Latios and Latios Edition, a blue and red Game Boy Advance released only in Japanese Pokemon Centers, tying with the release of Pokemon Heroes, Latios and Latios. It features silhouettes of Latios and Latios next to the Game Boy Advance logo. Pokemon Center New York Edition, a gold-colored Game Boy Advance released only in the Pokemon Center of New York to commemorate its grand opening. It was later sold at Pokemon Centers in Japan. It depicts silhouettes of Pikachu and Pichu next to the Game Boy Advance logo. Celebi Edition, a green Game Boy Advance released only in Japanese Pokemon Centers to to tie in with the release of Celebi, the voice of the forest. It depicts two silhouettes of Celebi next to the Game Boy Advance logo. Suicune Edition, a light blue Game Boy Advance released in Japanese Pokemon centers to tie in with the release of Crystal version. It features Pikachu and Pichu next to the Game Boy Advance logo. White Game Boy Advance, a white Game Boy Advance that depicts silhouettes of Pichu and Pikachu next to the Game Boy Advance logo. Diamond Encrusted Game Boy Advance. The winners of the Pokemon 10th Anniversary Journey Across America, Min Lee and Samin Said, each won a one-of-a-kind Diamond Encrusted Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance SP Pikachu Edition, a yellow Game Boy Advance SP released exclusively in Japanese Pokemon centers, then later released exclusively in Toys R Us stores in the US. The front of the system depicts Pikachu's face. Rayquaza Edition, a green Game Boy Advance SP released in Japanese Pokemon centers to tie in with the release of Emerald version. It depicts a silhouette of Rayquaza on the inside and on the outside. Venusaur Edition, a green Game Boy Advance SP released in Japanese Pokemon centers to tie in with the release of Leaf Green version. It depicts a silhouette of Venusaur on the inside and on the outside. Charizard Edition, a red Game Boy Advance SP released in Japanese Pokemon centers to tie in with the release of Fire Red version. It depicts a silhouette of Charizard on the inside and on the outside. Torchic Edition, an orange Game Boy Advance SP released in the Pokemon Center in New York only. It depicts a faint silhouette of Torchic on the front. Groudon Edition, a red Game Boy Advance SP released in the Pokemon Center in New York to tie in with the release of Ruby version. It depicts Groudon's face on the outside and a silhouette of Groudon on the inside. Kyogre Edition, a blue Game Boy Advance SP released in the Pokemon Center in New York to tie in with the release of Sapphire version. It depicts Kyogre's face on the front and a silhouette of Kyogre on the side. Game Boy Micro Pikachu Edition, a black and red Game Boy Micro released only in Japan on November 17, 2005 to celebrate the release of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. It depicts a metallic silhouette of Pikachu above the A and B buttons. Nintendo DS PokePark Edition, a blue DS available exclusively in Japan's PokePark. It was later released in Walmart stores in the US. The PokePark logo is depicted on the front of the console, while a silhouette of Pikachu is depicted inside the console. Mew Edition, a pink DS released only in Japan. Silhouettes of Mew are depicted on the front and inside of the system. Nintendo DS Lite Giratina Edition, a white DS Lite released only in Japan and Europe. It has Giratina on the front. It was bundled with Pokemon Platinum version. It was only available for Daisuke Club members only. Pikachu Edition, a yellow DS Lite released in Japanese Pokemon centers only via a lottery. It was later released in Europe. It depicts Pikachu's head on the front of the console. Dialga and Palkia versions. Black DS Lite released in Japanese and American Pokemon centers only. It depicts Dialga and Palkia on the front of the system. Pokemon Daisuke Club I Love Pikachu Edition. Released as a special promotion for Daisuke Club members only, the front of the system depicts Pikachu making various expressions and the Pokemon Daisuke Club logo. Pokemon Daisuke Club I Love Pikachu Edition. Same as the other I Love Pikachu Edition, except the Pokemon Daisuke Club logo on the front is changed. Only 40 were released. Pokemon Daisuke Club I Love Turtwig Edition. Same as the other Daisuke Club editions, except depicting Turtwig. Pokemon Daisuke Club I Love Chimchar Edition. Same as the other Daisuke Club editions, except depicting Chimchar. Pokemon Daisuke Club I Love Piplup Edition. Same as the other Daisuke Club editions, except depicting Piplup. Nintendo DSi Pokemon Black Edition, a black DSi that has the image of Reshiram and Zekrom on the front. It was bundled with black version. Pokemon White Edition, a white DSi that has the image of Reshiram and Zekrom on the front. It was bundled with white version. Worlds 2010 Edition, a yellow DSi that has an image of Worlds 2010 artwork on the front. It was awarded to those who placed top 32 in the 2010 World Championships. Nintendo 3DS XL Premium Gold Edition, a gold 3DS XL sold exclusively in Japan to promote Pokemon X and Y. Xerneas and Yveltal Blue Edition, a blue 3DS XL sold both in Japan and internationally to promote Pokemon X and Y. Xerneas and Yveltal Red Edition, a red 3DS XL sold internationally to promote Pokemon X and Y. Eevee Edition, an Eevee colored 3DS XL sold in Japan only. The back of the system depicts Eevee. Charizard Edition, a black 3DS XL sold in Japan only. The front of the system depicts Charizard's flame while the back depicts its body. Pikachu Edition, a yellow 3DS XL sold in the United States, Canada, Europe, and Japan. Pikachu's head is depicted on the front and its tail on the back. There are a couple of other ones that weren't on Bulbapedia, so I'll kind of have to briefly mention them off the top of my head. There are the 2DSs that came out for the Virtual Console versions of the Game Boy games. There's a red, blue, green, and yellow version. There's the Switch Lite, the Dialga and Palkia version based on the DS Lite. Zamazenta and Zacian versions of the Switch Lite that's like a flat gray with blue and yellow buttons. The Let's Go Eevee edition of the regular Nintendo Switch with like soft yellow and soft brown colors of Eevee and Pikachu. And I think there's a blue, like a brighter blue 2DS that was for Sun and Moon. But let's get on from there. Shiny Pokemon. A shiny Pokemon is a specific Pokemon with different coloration to what is usual for its species. It is one of the many differences that a Pokemon can have within its species. They were originally called Rare in the debug menu from Pokemon Gold and Silver, Color Pokemon in Pokemon Stadium 2, and also referred to as Alt Color in the Generation 3 Easy Chat system. The Shining Pokemon from the trading card game were also introduced before the word Shiny was officially used in Pokemon games. Form differences, such as that of Shallows and Gastrodon, are not normal/shiny versions of one another, but the individual forms can be shiny. Galar Dex Cut. This entry refers to the controversy that stemmed from the leaks of Pokémon Sword and Shield that showed a big portion of the National Dex being cut from the original release of the games. It would later on be confirmed that the rest of the decks would be trickled out slowly via the updates and DLC packages for the game. Here's a photo of the original National Dex before patches. Green squares are Pokemon returning and white boxes are Pokemon that did not return until future updates. Movies. There are a lot of Pokemon movies. There are at least 23 of them. I think the movies are generally a great watch for Pokemon fans because there's a huge spotlight of Pokemon in their natural habitat and you see them in a way that's more than just wild encounters in the games. Anyway, here's a list of every single animated Pokemon movie. Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. Pokemon the Movie 2000, The Power of One. Pokemon 3, The Movie, Spell of the Unknown. Pokemon Forever, Selvie, Voice of the Forest. From here on out, I'm mostly going to omit the Pokemon name just to make it a bit condensed. Jirachi Wishmaker, Destiny Deoxys, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea, The Rise of Darkrai. Giratina and the Sky Warrior, Arceus and the Jewel of Life. Zoroark, Master of Illusions, White. Victini and Reshiram, Black. Victini and Zekrom. Kyurem vs. the Sword of Justice, Genesect and the Legend Awakened, Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction, Koopa and the Clash of Ages, Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel, I Choose You, The Power of Us, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, a remake of the first movie, Secrets of the Jungle Coco. Missing No. Missing No, short for missing number and sometimes spelled without the period, is an unofficial Pokemon species found in the games Pokemon Red and Blue. Due to the programming of certain in-game events, players can encounter Missing No via a glitch. Encountering Missing No creates graphical anomalies and changes gameplay by increasing the number of items in the 6th entry of the player's inventory by 128. This beneficial effect resulted in the glitch's coverage by strategy guides and game magazines, while game publisher Nintendo warned that encountering the glitch may corrupt players' game data. IGN noted Missing No's appearance in Pokemon Red and Blue was one of the most famous video game glitches and commented on its role in increasing the series' popularity as a whole. Fans have attempted to rationalize and incorporate Missing No as part of the game's canon as an actual in-game character, and sociologists have even studied its impact on both players and gaming culture as a whole. A player can encounter Missing No in Pokemon Red and Blue by following a series of steps. First, the player watches an in-game tutorial for Pokemon capture in the game's Viridian City location. Second, the player uses the Pokemon with Fly to instantly travel to the game's Cinnabar Island location. And finally, the player uses the Pokemon with Surf to travel up and down the eastern shore of the island until Missing No appears. These events manipulate the game's random encounter system to generate a Pokemon with an invalid identifier. Each area within the game assigns values to a data buffer to represent the Pokemon that can be encountered in that area. However, some areas such as Cinnabar Island do not overwrite the data in this buffer, so the data from the previous area is used instead. During the Viridian City in-game tutorial, the player character's name is temporarily overwritten to read Old Man, and the player character's actual name is temporarily copied to that same data buffer. If the player travels directly to Cinnabar Island after viewing this tutorial, the player's name will be read as the Pokemon that can be randomly encountered in that area. Due to the player character's name not being intended to be read as this kind of data, the game can attempt to generate an encounter with a Pokemon with an invalid identifier, such as Missing No. Fans have dubbed this method of encountering Missing No the Old Man glitch. As with any wild Pokemon, players may flee from, fight, or capture Missing No. After an encounter with Missing No, as previously mentioned, the quantity of the 6th item in the player's inventory is increased by 128, but also the game's Hall of Fame Pokemon gallery becomes glitched. Temporary graphical glitches may also occur. These can be removed by viewing the stats page for another non-glitch Pokemon or resetting the console. A captured Missing No is functional as a Pokemon and appears in the game's Pokedex as number 000. It commonly appears with a scrambled block-like form, commonly described as a backward L shape, but depending on the player's name, it can also appear as one of 3 ghosts or fossil sprites not used by other Pokemon. And that is the end of Layer 1. Layer 2. Lumio City Save Glitch. This one is something that is cool to see because I remember this being a glitch without a patch yet, and seeing some people experience this glitch in real time without a solution. It was a crummy thing to see, but cool history nonetheless. The Lumio City Save Glitch is a glitch that occurs in Pokemon X and Y. It occurs whenever the game is saved and reloaded in the north and south boulevards of Lumio City and causes the game to not load properly. Upon reloading the game, the player will find that they cannot continue the progress with the last save file available at the time the glitch was triggered. The player will be unable to move or use the touchscreen, and certain textures will fail to load properly. Despite the apparent freeze, the background music will continue to play normally due to the fact that the player cannot proceed past this point and that the save file will keep being loaded incorrectly. This glitch will force the player to start a new save file. Nintendo quickly acknowledged the problem, having released a version 1.1 patch on the Nintendo eShop which fixes the Lumio City glitch and allows correct loading of save files affected by it, as well as fixing the GTS filter glitch. Some players even claimed that constantly pressing random buttons may stop the glitch. Episode RR. Episode RR is a mission following the player's first completion of the Alola League in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. The episode revolves around the appearance and takeover of the villains from previous games returning as one united team, Team Rainbow Rocket, and their quest to use Ultra Wormhole technology developed by the Aether Foundation to take over other worlds. Fun fact, N is the only core series villain team leader introduced as of Gen 7 to not appear in episode RR. Tweaking. Tweaking is a glitch exclusive to the core series of Generation 4 games that cause the games to improperly load graphics of an area. It is also sometimes referred to as hole punching to commemorate its discoverer, a GameSpot forums member by the name of Hole Punch. The Void glitch is a specific application of the tweaking glitch only useful in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. First, the player must tweak a black area onto a section that would normally contain building, making it possible to walk through their improperly loaded walls. Then, by standing exactly one tile above the entrance to a building, reloading the area, and walking south, player can end up on the interior map of a building, but in the black void area around the normally accessible portion, similar to the surf glitch. As with the surf glitch, it is then possible to navigate through the interconnecting area of this void to normally inaccessible locations, such as New Moon Island and the Flower Paradise, where the event-exclusive Darkrai and Shaman reside. Coliseum Bonus Disc. The Pokemon Coliseum bonus disc was only available by reserving a copy of Pokemon Coliseum. Its contents vary depending on region, but in all cases contain previews of various games or movies and one or more special downloadable Pokemon. The US bonus disc contains previews of Pokemon Coliseum and the movie Jirachi Wishmaker, as well as a downloadable Jirachi. To receive Jirachi, a Nintendo GameCube, Game Boy Advance cable, an English copy of either Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire, and an empty spot in the party is required. With everything connected properly, Jirachi will appear and be transferred to Ruby or Sapphire. The process of obtaining Jirachi can be repeated as long as the save file that is receiving Jirachi has not already used this disc. If the game that is being used to get Jirachi has the berry glitch, it will be fixed upon receiving Jirachi. It is not required to own Pokemon Coliseum to receive Jirachi. The Japanese bonus disc contains a Celebi and previews of Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire, Donkey Konga, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, the Donkey Kong Country remake for Game Boy Advance, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Mario Kart Double Dash, and Mario Party 5. Unlike the US bonus disc, owning Pokemon Coliseum is required at first to receive Celebi. The Coliseum save file must have all 48 Shadow Pokemon purified. After Celebi has been transferred to the Coliseum save file, the bonus disc can then be used to transfer up to 48 more Celebi to any Japanese Game Boy Advance Pokemon games as long as the player has entered the Hall of Fame and saved in a Pokemon Center. A Pikachu is also available from this disc by achieving a silver rank on the Game Boy Advance through Coliseum Battle. Ribbons. A ribbon is a special item that can be awarded to a Pokemon for a variety of reasons. Ribbons stay on a Pokemon permanently, even across generations, and can be checked in different ways depending on the game version. Ribbons were first introduced in Generation 3. In Generation 3, the large majority were obtained by competing in and winning Pokemon contests, but in later generations, a larger variety of ribbons have been added. Besides competing in contests, some ribbons are awarded for conquering special battle facilities like the Battle Tower. Others are obtainable from various NPCs in-game, and some are only distributed on event Pokemon. In Generation 3, ribbons also had no names. They only had unique icons and descriptions. In the Generation 5 games, there are no ways to earn any ribbons in-game. but Pokemon distributed through events could have ribbons, and Pokemon transferred from a previous generation also retained their ribbons. Prior to Generation 6, ribbons were only added, and if a Pokemon had ribbons and were transferred to a later generation, all of its ribbons would be retained and could be viewed on its status screen. Generation 6, however, reduced the total number of ribbons from 80 to 46, 48 counting different versions of the contest and battle memory ribbons, by consolidating the contest and tower ribbons from previous generations. If a Pokemon with contest or tower ribbons is transferred from Generation 5 to 6 or 7 through the Poke Transporter, all of its contest and tower ribbons are replaced by a contest memory or a battle memory ribbon. In Generation 8, ribbons can be equipped to a Pokemon. When sent into battle, the Pokemon will have a special title added after their name based on the ribbon that is equipped. Croagunk Color Change. Croagunk Color Change refers to when Croagunk had its spots changed to red in Generation 6. I'll show you a picture right here. That's it. Pretty simple. Shadow Pokemon. Shadow Pokemon are Pokemon that are being used for wrongful acts because they had the doors to their hearts shut artificially, process created and carried out by Cypher in the Ori region. Collecting Shadow Pokemon through snaking and restoring them to normal by purifying them is the main goal of Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. It's also worth noting that Shadow Pokemon have unique Shadow moves such as Shadow Rush. Pokewalker. The Pokewalker is a pedometer device specifically for use with Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver that is able to interact with the games in various manners. It was released in Japan on September 12, 2009, bundled with every copy of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and then later released with every localized copy of the game. The accessory has a Pokeball design with a small monochrome LCD screen and 3 functioning buttons. The Pokewalker supports infrared signals, allowing players to interact within a short range of the game card of Heart Gold and Soul Silver while slotted into the DS, or with another Pokewalker. The system records every time a step is taken, and the daily step count influences which wild Pokemon and items will appear. Player can transfer a Pokemon to the Pokewalker from Heart Gold or Soul Silver, which gains experience from each step. Like the Pokemon Pikachu and the Pokemon Pikachu 2 GS, the Pokewalker uses a currency known as watts. Every 20 steps will earn the player 1 watt. Players can also catch various Pokemon and obtain items on the device, then transfer them to the game. Alongside the Johto Safari Zone, the Pokewalker allows for Pokemon normally unavailable until after the player has traveled to Kanto, such as Murkrow, to be available before defeating the Johto League. Much as Heart Gold and Soul Silver are remakes of the original Gold and Silver, the Pokewalker is considered to be somewhat of a remake of the Pokemon Pikachu 2 GS, which interacted in much the same way with the Generation 2 game. Unlike the Pokemon Pikachu 2 GS, however, Pikachu is not the only Pokemon that can be interacted with, and Pokemon can actually be transferred to and from the Pokewalker at any given time. Here are a couple fun facts. The Pokewalker was more accurate than other pedometers available at the time. Another fun fact is that Pokemon caught in a Pokewalker cannot have a quirky nature. Pikachu Illustrator Card. Pokemon Illustrator is a trainer card in the TCG. It is one of the unnumbered promotional cards. This card was awarded to selected winning entrants across 3 illustration contests publicized in the Koro Koro comic. The Pokemon card game illustration art contest, announced in the November 1997 issue of Koro Koro comic, released on October 15, 1997, with the winning entries announced in the January 1998 issue, released in December 1997. 3 entrants received the best award, each of them receiving 20 copies of a card featuring their illustration as well as a copy of this card. A further 20 entrants received the Excellence Award, each of them awarded a copy of this card. 2 other contests were held in 1998. The Mewtwo's Counterattack Commemoration Illustration Artist Contest was the first, announced in the May 1998 issue of Koro Koro comic, with the second, Pikachu's Summer Vacation Commemoration Illustration Artist Contest, announced in the June 1998 issue of Koro Koro comic. Both of these contests invited readers to design their own Pokemon card, in which entries were judged on the most interesting illustrations and the most creative attacks. Winners of the Mewtwo's Counterattack Commemoration Illustration Artist Contest were announced in the July 1998 issue of Koro Koro comic, which included 1 Best Award for overall illustration and attacks, 4 instances of the Excellence Award for illustration, and 3 instances of the Excellence Award for attacks. Each of these winners received a copy of this card, with the Best Award winner also receiving 20 copies of the card featuring their illustration. Winners of the Pikachu Summer Vacation Commemoration Illustration Artist Contest were announced in the August 1998 issue of Koro Koro comic, which included 4 instances of the Excellence Award for both illustration and attacks. There is no Best Award for this contest. Each of those earning the Excellence Award received a copy of this card. This card currently holds the highest sale price for an individual Pokemon card. This card is considered to be among the rarest in the world, with only 39 copies officially distributed. This card also features the word illustrator at the top instead of trainer, and is the only card to do so. Birthday events. In an event ongoing since Generation 4, players who visit a Pokemon Center in Japan with an eligible Pokemon game can download a gift Pokemon on or near their birthday. Since Generation 5, there is a special birthday ribbon which is exclusively for Pokemon received as birthday presents from the Pokemon Center stores. Since Generation 6, these birthday Pokemon all know the event exclusive move Celebrate, which congratulates the player when used in battle. And yes, these are still distributed to this day. So here's a list of every single birthday Pokemon you can obtain: Charmander, Pikachu, Chimchar, Audino, Togekiss, Eevee, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Espeon, Umbreon, Leafeon, Glaceon, Sylveon, and Comfey. And that's the end of Layer 2. Layer 3. Transgender Beauty Trainer. In Pokemon X and Y, Beauty Nova, an NPC encountered in the Kalos Battle Mansion, is believed by many players to be a transgender woman. She mentions to the player that just a half a year ago, she had been a black belt, which is an all-male trainer type in Pokemon. In the English localization process, her dialogue was changed slightly to omit the mention of her transformation being due to the power of medical science. Her character has been debated by members of the fandom over whether or not she is actually meant to be a transgender person, with some believing that this was just a translation error. However, it is important to note that the female versions of Black Belt characters are called Battle Girls. The game text specifically uses Black Belt to reference who she was previously. Let me go ahead and give you a translation from Japanese to English, and then show you the localized translation. Here's the Japanese translation. I was a karate king just half a year ago. The power of medical science is awesome, wouldn't you say? And here's the localized translation. Yes, a mere half year ago I was a black belt. Quite the transformation, wouldn't you say? Uncatchable Shinies. The name is a bit self-explanatory, but in Pokemon games, there are certain Pokemon encounters that are usually scripted and you have no control of. Sadly, like all the other wild Pokemon encounters, there is a chance of encountering shiny Pokemon in these, and all you can do is watch. I'll give you some examples of uncatchable shiny Pokemon. In Pokemon Fire Red or Leaf Green, an uncatchable Weedle appears while the old man is teaching the player how to catch Pokemon. This Weedle can appear shiny, but can only be caught by the old man. A lot of the uncatchable shinies throughout the series have a similar means of seeing an uncatchable shiny, so I'll cover some of the more unique ones. In Pokemon Crystal, you must travel to New Barktown to Cherry Grove City before you can even get your first Pokeballs. Any Pokemon you encounter on Route 29 will not be able to be caught due to this, but the odds of obtaining a shiny are still there despite not being able to catch it. And that sounds depressing. In the Isle of Armor DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield, players have the ability to pay NPCs around the map to show them the Pokedex entry for a Pokemon they haven't encountered yet. This entry has the chance of displaying a Pokemon shiny form instead of its regular Pokedex entry. Can you imagine losing your shiny chance because you wanted to look at a Pokedex entry? PokeCom Center. The Pokemon Communication Center, or the PokeCom Center for short, is an expanded Pokemon Center found exclusively in the Japanese version of Pokemon Crystal. In that game, it replaces the normal Pokemon Center in Goldenrod City and houses machines that rely on the now defunct mobile system GB. As the mobile Game Boy adapter was never released outside of Japan, the mobile system GB features were disabled and the Pokemon Communication Center was reverted to the regular Pokemon Center for the international releases of Pokemon Crystal. Nonetheless, all the features are still present in the internal data of the localizations. The Pokemon Communication Center is divided into 3 rooms. The main room where the player can find the Trade Center and Pokemon News Machine. The second floor, which houses the same regular linking facilities as an ordinary Pokemon Center. The Administration Office, a small room with 3 staff members as well as 3 PCs containing documentation and support articles about the mobile features. Access to it is initially blocked off by an old man who came to see the new machines in Goldenrod's Pokemon Center. He claims that the staff is still busy with the preparations to the player. This means that once the first connection to the mobile system GB is successfully made, the old man will leave. The most important and notable event held by the Pokemon Communication Center allowed players to obtain a GS ball from a Pokemon Center nurse, to summon a wild level 30 Celebi, to battle at the Elex Forest Shrine 24 hours after giving it to Kurt in Azalea Town for inspection. The GS ball was distributed twice in 2001, first from March 29th to May 29th, and again from August 1st to 28th, wherein players were requested to answer a survey correctly in order to receive the GS ball. The event involved the player obtaining 16 badges before successfully completing the Chaiko Dice minigame 3 times in a row and successfully entering the 10-card quiz via the Pokemon News Machine. Dream World. The Pokemon Dream World was a browser-based, massively single-player online game that connected to Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2, operated via the Pokemon Global Link website. The Dream World allowed players to send a Pokemon to the internet to obtain items and meet other Pokemon, making the website like a Generation 5 analog to the Pokewalker. The Dream World was shut down on January 14, 2014, alongside all other services for Generation 5 games. At the time, the Dream World exclusive hidden abilities was the biggest incentive for players to use the Dream World. Some of the unique abilities are things like Iron Fist Chimchar, Drizzle Poliwag, Drought Vulpix, which the latter two were used in competitive Pokemon teams. Pokerus. Pokerus, or the Pokemon virus, is a microscopic lifeform that may attach to a Pokemon, first appearing in the Generation 2 games. It is a beneficial mechanic that a Pokemon can obtain. When a Pokemon has the Pokerus, it gains double the effort values from battling. So for example, fighting a Magikarp will give 2 speed EVs rather than 1. Effort points gained from vitamins and wings are not doubled. The infected Pokemon can infect other Pokemon with the virus for a period of 1 to 4 days. However, the Pokerus timer can be delayed by several methods, such as by placing the infected Pokemon in a PC box. While it is represented similarly to status conditions, the Pokerus is not a status condition, so it cannot be healed at a Pokemon Center or with any status condition healing item. The Pokerus has a 3 in 65,536 or approximately a 1 in 21,845 chance of being generated on one of the player's Pokemon after a battle, making it rarer than encountering or hatching a shiny Pokemon. If any of the player's Pokemon are infected, the Pokerus may spread among Pokemon in the player's party after any battle. From Generation 4 onward, the Pokerus became more accessible, with worldwide trading facilitated by the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. Faraway Island. Faraway Island is an island far from Hoenn. It is the only known habitat of the mythical Pokemon Mew in the core series games. The island is only accessible in Pokemon Emerald. Its location is marked on the old sea map, and Mr. Briny returns a favor to the player by helping them sail to this island on the ship moored in Lily Cove City. On the island is a sign with an old faded writing dating the 6th day of the month. In the English localization, this month ends in Burr, suggesting that any of the 4 final months of the year. In the Japanese version, it is only known that it is a month's name. In the Japanese version, there is a remnant of his signature, G. This is commonly assumed to be Mr. Fuji. Pokemon Brick Bronze. Pokemon Brick Bronze was a Roblox game based on Pokemon. It had its own unique plot twists and interpretation, such as Robloxian trainers. After starting at Middletown, Roria, players could catch various species of Pokemon, train them, and battle with them. So essentially, it's a fan version of Pokemon in the Roblox engine. WiiWare Mystery Dungeon games. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Keep Going, Blazing Adventure Squad, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Let's Go, Stormy Adventure Squad, and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Go For It, Light Adventure Squad are a set of games for the WiiWare on the Wii in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. They were released exclusively in Japan on August 4, 2009, also making these so far the only ones not to have an international release. These titles are no longer legitimately obtainable since the Wii Shop channel was shut down on January 31, 2019. A fan translation of these games was released in April 2020. Pokemon use the same 3D models as My Pokemon Ranch and the Pokemon Rumble series. The player can also use the Nintendo DS as a controller. Box games. These are a bit obscure, but the Pokemon box games are a bit of a precursor to the Pokemon Bank. Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire is a Nintendo GameCube Pokemon game, more so used as an app or utility than a game itself. You could store up to 1,500 Pokemon from Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire. When a certain number of Pokemon are deposited from a game cartridge, an additional Pokemon egg will be deposited. The Pokemon that hatches will know a special move that it would not learn normally and cannot be passed down through breeding. The deposited Pokemon do not need to have the same original trainer ID number, but must be transferred from the same game cartridge into Pokemon Box. This means that, in cases where a player has access to multiple games, all the Pokemon can be transferred to one, then moved into Box. A player can get one of each egg per Game Boy Advance save file. You receive a Swablu egg at the beginning of the game. The Zigzagoon egg will be received if there are at least 100 Pokemon in the box. The Skitty egg can be received if there are at least 500 Pokemon in the box. Pichu egg can be received if at least 1,499 Pokemon are in the box. Aside from being a storage device, Pokemon Box can be used to play Ruby and Sapphire on a TV without the Game Boy player. Only those two versions can be played, and the storage system on the memory card cannot be accessed via the in-game PC, just the game cartridge boxes. Wireless adapter. The wireless adapter is a Game Boy Advance accessory that attaches to the Game Link cable port of any Game Boy Advance compatible device where the link cable would normally go. Much like the Game Boy Advance GameCube cable, it is held in place by tabs that click into the small slots on top. The adapter was included with Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green when they were initially released, though the adapter was removed when the games made it to a player's choice status. It is fully compatible with both games, as well as with Pokemon Emerald and numerous other Game Boy Advance games. Due to its release late in the life of the Game Boy Advance, most of the system's library could not support it. As the wireless communications of the wireless adapter and those of the Nintendo DS are on different frequencies, one cannot use the wireless functionality of Game Boy Advance games when played on a DS. Due to the Game Boy Micro having a different type of link cable port, it cannot use the standard Game Boy Advance wireless adapter. A variation of the adapter compatible with the Game Boy Micro was released though it was only available through Nintendo. The Battle Frontier project is starting. This one really hurts, but in order to explain the pain, I have to explain the whole purpose of it. The Battle Resort is a location in Hoenn. It only appears in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It is the counterpart to the original Ruby and Sapphire's Battle Tower and alludes to the Pokemon Emerald Battle Frontier. In the north of the upper section of the island, there is a model of the planned Battle Tower. The sign in front of it mentions that the Battle Frontier project has started, and that the model is that of the planned first facility for the Frontier, the Battle Tower. On the top floor of the Battle Mason, there's a man in a black suit who is acting as a talent scout for Scott. He mentions that he has already scouted the Pike Queen. So one of the most beloved post-game settings is from Pokemon Emerald, the Battle Frontier as previously mentioned. The sign specifically mentioning the Battle Frontier had fans excited to see potential DLC or an update for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but that never happened. And it just hurts because why tease something that way and then never deliver on it? I remember being excited about seeing this sign and then nothing ever happening. E-reader cards. The e-reader is a peripheral for the Game Boy Advance and is used to scan special cards in order to unlock new features in existing games, add new features to games that have e-reader functionality, or to play mini-games on the e-reader itself. I believe that this entry refers more towards the Pokemon e-cards that were made in the TCG. I remember seeing these like scanned barcodes on Pokemon cards growing up, and I wish I still had these cards from this era because I've always wanted to scan the e-readers and see exactly what they did. But these specific cards can be scanned to play mini-games and other small applications directly on the Game Boy Advance from the e-reader. Some cards could even give you special berries made specifically to make Pokeblocks, unique trainer battles, or Pokedex entries. Here's a list of all the available sets or specific cards that have e-reader functionality. The Pokemon Battle e-card series, Sample Set Demonstration series, the Expedition Base Set TCG expansion, the Aquapolis TCG expansion, the Skyridge TCG expansion, the EX Ruby and Sapphire expansion, the EX Sandstorm TCG expansion, Pokedex entries only, the EX Dragon TCG expansion, the EX Team Magma vs Team Aqua TCG expansion, select Wizards of the Coast Black Star promos, and Nintendo promotional TCG cards, the P promotional cards available only in Japan. The McDonald's Pokemon E Minimum Pack in Japan only. The Theater Limited Versus Pack, again exclusive to Japan and select cards only. Special cards containing extra features for the Smeargle Paint minigame in Pokemon Channel. Special cards allowing a player to increase the likelihood of special events in the Japanese version of Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire. And lastly, 2 cards distributed with Pokemon Scoop's Winter 2004 magazine containing the Berry Program update, fixing the Berry glitch in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Pokemon Unite Hate. So this is more of a generalized idea, so I'll kind of sum it up here. Earlier in 2020, there was news of the Pokemon Unite announcement, and before it was revealed, there was a lot of hype surrounding it, because a lot of fans were unsure if this was going to be a different type of announcement for a new series game or the now released Diamond and Pearl remakes. I remember people being very excited, and I can see why, that there was hate for the game because it was just a MOBA. There was an article on Nintendo Life saying that the presentation at the time has already been disliked 150,000 times, so I can see where that hate comes from. I think the game ended up kind of surpassing a lot of expectations, and I will say it is pretty good for being a free game, but yeah. I do know that the core audience at first did not like their impressions of Pokemon Unite. And then it was also made by Tencent, which is its own can of worms. So let's go ahead and go on with the next one. Mirage Island. Mirage Island is a hard-to-reach location in Hoenn, found on Route 130 in Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. It can only be visited under highly rare circumstances. Every day, a random number between 0 and 65,535 is generated by the game. If this number matches the first 2 bytes of the personality value of any Pokemon in the player's party, then Mirage Island will appear. Consequently, Mirage Island can be made to disappear and reappear for that day by removing and putting back the matching Pokemon in the party, and Mirage Island will still disappear at the end of the day, barring the unlikely outcome of 2 matching numbers being generated in a row. These odds make Mirage Island's appearance even rarer than encountering a shiny Pokemon, although the probability increases with the number of Pokemon the player has. The odds of a single Pokemon activating Mirage Island is 1 in 65,536. This chance is increased to approximately 1 to 10,923 if the player has a full party, assuming no 2 Pokemon in the player's party have the same 2 bytes of their personality values. The island is inhabited by wild Wynot, which range from level 5 to level 50. Most notably, the island bears a tree where the one and only Lychee berry in the game can be picked. This is the best berry for Pokeblocks and will produce gold Pokeblocks. It can also be used as a held item in battles where it will increase a Pokemon's attack in a pinch. An old man in the southeastern hut in Pacifilog Town will tell the player whether or not he can see Mirage Island, allowing the player to check if they have a matching Pokemon without having to leave the town. Since Mirage Island's number does not change throughout a given day, it is possible for a player to freely move Pokemon between the boxes and the party when attempting to check if any Pokemon in the party matches the Mirage Island number. I can very vividly remember playing this game as a kid and hearing amongst my friends that they were trying to get to Mirage Island, and I think this is one of those things that made me really enjoy the 3rd generation. This specifically and the way to get the Regis are what truly fueled my passion for Pokemon games and started my obsession with Pokemon. And that is the end of Layer 3. Layer 4. Pokemon Center Save Glitch. The Pokemon Center Save Glitch refers to a specific issue that occurred to certain players of Pokemon Sun and Moon. When saving in specific locations, but more commonly in Pokemon Centers, it would result in players' save files corrupting and becoming unrestorable. Now remember this when I say certain players. Let's just say that the certain people were those who were injecting Pokemon via a tool called the PK Hex, a tool used to generate Pokemon with preset values, moves, and stats. So now imagine this, when you've had people taking their issue with the glitches online, this would make these people actually inadvertently expose themselves as quote-unquote cheaters, which can be seen as controversial in the competitive Pokemon community. The creator of PK Hex, his name is Kurt or Cafodix, tweeted out, "Funny how people blame the games for a glitch instead of stating that they used an illicit tool. The tool caused the problem. Smiley face. No, you're not the one." This is one of those entries that is straight up creepy, but it's actually canon in Pokemon. This isn't a creepypasta or anything, it's 100% in Pokemon X and Y. In Lumio City, on the 2nd floor of the fighting dojo, a girl resembling a Hex Maniac mysteriously appears behind the player as soon as they enter the room, and moves around them without moving her legs, as if floating. She says, "No, you're not the one," and then disappears without a trace. The meaning of this in-game event, if it has any, is so far unknown. I think there have even been interviews where there weren't any sort of confirmations, and I'm pretty sure that the question was dodged. Scrapped PWT fights. Before we can talk about the scrap fights in the PWT, let's quickly explain what the PWT is. The PWT is the Pokemon World Tournament. It's a facility in Unova in Black and White 2. Prominent trainers from previous games gather here to participate in battles in an 8-person single elimination tournament. Single, double, triple, and rotation battles are also held here. Special trainers can be downloaded via Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. It also contains a move reminder, deleter, and several move tutors. You can fight previous champions and gym leaders from other regions across the Pokemon series. This is another one of those fan favorite post-game features, just like the previously mentioned Battle Frontier. In the internal text file for the Pokemon World Tournament, there are 2 complete sets of unused text strings for Hilbert and Hilda, otherwise known as the default player characters' names of the original Pokemon Black and White. These strings are located between the ones for Volkner and the Driftvale tournament participants. This indicates that they were intended to appear as opponents on an unidentified tournament. In the final release, with the exception of multiplayer interactions with either Black or White, neither player appears at all, but are frequently referred to by other characters. Unlike the memory link references to the player character in the final release, their names are permanently set as Hilbert and Hilda. Both sets of text are identical, with the exception of swapping the respective names as necessary. DNS exploit. When talking about the ethics of PK Hex and getting Pokemon illegitimately, this entry is a bit of a gray area in that regard. There are specific DNS codes for each game that you set up into your DS's Wi-Fi settings. When doing this, you can pick and choose which Pokemon you'd like to get for the mystery gift, and a lot of these Pokemon have been specifically distributed at events or specific windows of time. That's where the gray area is, but I do think it's incredibly cool that players had actually figured out this exploit. Where do you stand on this in terms of illegitimate Pokemon? Chimecho's index number. Chimecho is a Psychic-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 3, and a funny little personal history that I actually ended up being kind of related to this entry is that I thought that Chimecho was some sort of legendary or mythical Pokemon because of how much of a spotlight was given to it in the series at some point. In each Pokemon game of Generation 3, all Pokemon have an unseen index number used to identify them in the game's ROM. The majority of them are in their national Pokedex order. In fact, all Pokemon from 1 to 251 inclusive are in the same position that they are in the national Pokedex. What's weird is that the national dex usually ends with legendaries, but after Deoxys, there's Chimecho, so I'm wondering if the Pokemon was actually originally intended to be some type of special Pokemon now that I'm researching this info. Pokémon Sword and Shield leak lawsuit. Pokemon Sword and Shield were leaked online, and as I mentioned earlier with the Galar Dex, had shown Pokemon that wouldn't be in the game with no confirmation if they would get added later. As you can imagine, the leak was a PR nightmare, with hashtag GameFreakLied trending all over the internet. I even remember the other one being something along the lines of saying can't catch them all, something like that. Anyway, the Pokemon Company settled a lawsuit, making the defendants pay the Pokemon Company $150,000 in damages. When the Pokemon Company first filed the lawsuit, it only had screenshots of the guides posted into a Discord chat. Throughout the lawsuit, the Pokemon Company discovered that one of the two defendants took photos while employed by the company that was hired to print the strategy guide. The second defendant then shared those photos on Discord, from which they spread to a worldwide audience, the Pokemon Company said in the original complaint. The photos revealed features that weren't seen before, like the Gigantamax forms of certain Pokemon. Pocket Pikachu. The Pokemon Pikachu is a step counter and virtual pet toy in which the player looks after a virtual pet Pikachu. The device has a yellow case and a monochrome screen. It has the same button layout as the original Game Boy. The directional pad is used to select options from the main and settings menus and adjust the numbers on the clock and gift options. The select button shows Pikachu's current friendship level. The start button opens the settings menu, which contains options for sound, the current time, and resetting the step count. The A button confirms selection, while the B button returns to Pikachu. Additionally, a reset button on the front of the device completely resets the player's progress. The Pokemon Pikachu's design was used as a basis for a Hello Kitty virtual pet, which was produced by Nintendo. This all goes without saying that this device was probably inspired by Tamagotchi, as Tamagotchis were released in 1996, while the Pocket Pikachu was released in 1998 in Japan. Floatstone NPC. Alright, this one's pretty funny. It took me a second to realize what this entry was even talking about, but when I realized it, I laughed pretty hard. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there's an NPC that looks like the rich boy at Rustboro City. He hands you the Floatstone item, and when you leave and come back into the same room, you'll see that his in-game model has thickened up quite a bit into the hiker model. The Floatstone is a Hallowed item that cuts a Pokemon's weight in half, and after he gave the item to you, he got all of his weight back. Wait, is he a Pokemon? Oh no. Seal in Pokemon Twilight Wings. Oh no, this is another entry relating to the Sword and Shield decks. There's an animated special that was designed as a way to promote and hype up Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's a great watch with incredibly gorgeous animation. In the 4th episode of Pokemon Twilight Wings, the episode focused on the water gym leader, Nessa. There's a scene showing her riding a melodic, and there's a moment where there are Dugong constantly flipping and jumping out of the water. The issue is that the timing of the release of the animated special was the fact that Seal and Dugong are not available in the initial release of Pokemon Sword and Shield. The Japanese Twitter account for the Pokemon Company issued an apology that roughly translates to, in the web animation, Tsubaki no Tsubasa, some Pokemon that did not appear in Pokemon Sword Shield appeared. I'm sorry for making a misleading expression. Can you imagine being a huge Seal or Dugong fan? That would break my heart. Imagine seeing this and not knowing that the apology was issued, then going out and buying Sword and Shield? Yikes. And that's the end of Layer 4. Layer 5. Mega Blaziken using Ice Punch. During the pre-release hype of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there were screenshots of a shared battle between Mega Blaziken and Flygon, showing Blaziken using Ice Punch. Data miners have stated that the demo, for which further context, had the entire game's files in the demo as well, so all of the data for Pokemon, including Mega Evolutions, stats and moves available, were all leaked on the internet, but data miners confirmed that the leak said nothing about Blaziken being able to learn Ice Punch. With the release of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Mega Blaziken was completely confirmed to not be able to learn Ice Punch. The Pokémon Company released a statement in Japan regarding this, saying, "On the page introducing Blaziken on the official website of Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, you can learn Raito Punch, which is a technique that Mega Blaziken cannot originally remember. We apologize for any inconvenience caused by the information that differs from the content of the game." Currently, the incorrect information part has actually been deleted from the relevant page. Yes, this is a roughed up Google Translate. Pokemon Sun Moon leak. This entry is pretty self-explanatory. Pokemon Sun and Moon were leaked a month before release and data miners went wild. The community showed disappointment in the leaks of the starter Pokemon's third stage of evolutions. Unlike the Sword and Shield leak, the Pokemon Company did not figure out who leaked the games and therefore could not proceed with legal actions. PokePark Japan. Pokemon the Park 2005, or PokePark, was a traveling Japanese theme park based on the Pokemon franchise. It previously existed in 2 locations, both are currently closed. The theme parks featured many Pokemon themed attractions and were opened between March 18, 2005 and September 25, 2005 in Japan, and from June 23, 2006 to September 24, 2006 in Taiwan. Here's a list of the attractions: the Altomare Gondola Cruise, Dancing Pokemon Mini Tour, Lugia Spinning Ship, Mew's Capture, Battle Coaster Torn Sky, Gotta Dance Tour, Pokemon Merry-Go-Round, Pokemon Starry Sky Trip, Pikachu's Forest, Team Aqua vs Team Magma Crash Car, Mudkip's Big Splash, Pichu Bros Rascal Railway, Pokemon Exciting Safari, Pokemon Floating Kids, Pokemon Giant Ferris Wheel, Pokemon Daisuki Club Stage, Pokemon Nightclub, Pokemon Star Swing, Pokemon 3D Adventure, Walkthrough Adventure, Safari Zone, Twister, Fury in the Sky. There were 2 Rocket Pokemon shops located throughout the park. These shops had accessories for Pokemon fans and items such as Pokemon headgear, t-shirts, postcards, and official PokePark souvenirs. It shut down because of limited assets. People in the park with a Nintendo DS were able to download a game via DS Download Play called PokePark Fishing Rally DS. A few people in the park with a Game Boy Advance were also gifted free Pokemon. Pokemon GS Beta. The Pokemon GS Beta is a pretty complicated thing to summarize, but let's try our best. I find this entry to be one of the most interesting, so it's difficult for me to write about this without feeling like I'm leaving a lot of cool things out. In 1997, Nintendo announced the first details about the then next generation of Pocket Monsters games to be titled Pocket Monsters 2 Gold and Silver. The games were intended to be released at the end of the year for the original Game Boy, while supporting the Super Game Boy enhancements that the Generation 1 games have. The color scheme in these screenshots corresponds to the Super Game Boy palettes, as the games hadn't been developed with the Game Boy Color in mind yet. It also supported the palette swapping functionality that is also present in the Generation 1 game. At this time, the initial game screenshots released didn't look all that much different from the Generation 1 games. The pictures clearly show the game's engine being in a more developed but still early stage. The lack of battle screenshots would seem to indicate that a redone battle system had not been implemented yet. As can be seen on one of the screenshots, whirlpools were originally randomly interspersed across sea routes to serve as obstacles. On some other screenshots of different stages of development, part of a city resembling Ekritik City is seen. Whether it was an actual prototype of Ekritik City or a completely distinct location is not known. A screenshot depicting an earlier design for the Pokemon Center also shows an unknown ruin on the upper right corner, which was possibly related to the ruins of Elf or an equivalent location at that point in development. A gate at the end of the route is also shown. Another screenshot also depicts possible prototypes of Goldenrod Radio Tower, as well as of a gate, possibly the gate that leads to Route 39, or rather the magnet train station in Goldenrod City. The end of 1997 passed without a release for Pocket Monsters 2 Gold and Silver. The potential release date was removed, and things generally stayed quiet until March 1998, where it was officially announced that the release would be delayed. It was at this time that the games were re-announced as Pocket Monsters Gold and Silver. Though the number 2 was dropped, the games remained as sequels to the Generation 1 games. Following nearly a year without press releases, the Nintendo of Japan website was finally updated with new information on Pocket Monsters Gold and Silver. A revised release date of June 1999 was given, and it was announced that the games would be compatible with then soon-to-be released Game Boy Color. The final release date was later pushed back to November 21st, 1999. Along with the projected release date, Ken Sugimori's artwork for Slowking, Meryl, Bellossom, and Hoot Hoot was also released, as were several screenshots of the new battle system, featuring fully colored sprites. The battle screens are very similar to the final ones, but the absence of gender notation is apparent. Pokemon Gender was a previously announced feature, and the graphical indicator of the gender during battle was likely added later as a convenience to players. Full maps without events programmed exist for the Pokemon Lab in Cinnabar Island, indicating that Cinnabar Island was originally planned to make an appearance without the erupted volcano, or at least that the lab was going to remain. A minecart image was discovered on the cave tile sets. The player character's early sprites depict him without his bag, and are still present in the game's code as well. One of the different types of name entry screens is unused and has the player naming their mother. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Demo. The Pokemon Diamond and Pearl demo are a pair of demos of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. It was available in select video game retail locations in Western countries in early 2007. In the demo, the player controls the female character in Diamond and the male character in Pearl, named Diamond and Pearl respectively. The player begins in Jubilife City, and Barry will give them a tour, during which the player has no control. At the end, Barry will drop the player off at the entrance to Route 203. Upon reaching the end of Route 203, the player meets with Professor Rowan and may speak with him to cause him to instantly evolve the player's Roselia into Roserade, with Rowan commenting that several Pokemon are able to evolve in the Sinnoh region that were previously thought to be unable to evolve. The demo actually contains the entirety of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl in it, meaning that if the player was to use a walkthrough wall sheet to get past the barriers in the demo, then the player could play the full game on the demo. Altering Cave. This entry is actually something I've always wondered about as a kid, because Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green were the games that I played that started my preteen obsession with Pokemon, which might I add, I was alive during Pokemania, but this was the thing that got me to go further and really get obsessed and really truly fall in love with Pokemon. The Altering Cave is a mysterious cave found in Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald. Only Zubat can be found in it, but it would appear to have been possible for the Altering Cave's wild Pokemon to be altered using the mystery gift at a Wonder Spot hosted by Nintendo, hence its name, Altering Cave. Despite this, no country has ever held an event to make use of this feature. All the unreleased event Pokemon can be found in the extended area of the Safari Zone in Pokemon Emerald, except for Smeargle, which is found in Artisan Cave at the Battlefront tier. In addition, their evolutionary lines are all available in Pokemon Colosseum as Shadow Pokemon. Gardevoir using Fairy Wind. Gardevoir using Fairy Wind refers to something similar to what I've mentioned earlier in the Iceberg, Blaziken using Ice Punch. Prior to the release of Pokemon X and Y, the trailer at E3 2013 showed Gardevoir using Fairy Wind. However, Gardevoir cannot learn Fairy Wind in the final release of the game. Zionist Accusations. In 2001, the Great Mufti of Saudi Arabia, who is the highest religious authority in the kingdom, issued a fatwa banning the Pokemon franchise, claiming it encourages gambling and promotes Zionism. High Muslim authorities in Qatar and Egypt then joined the ban. As this happened during the Second Intifada, a Jordanian newspaper printed a caricature of Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon sitting in a tank and laughing at an Arab man chasing a Pokemon. This is meant to convey that Arabs are distracted from their conflict with the Israelis by popular franchises, with Pokemon as an example of such distraction. Despite the initial banning, which quickly wiped away Pokemon merchandise, especially the card game, from markets in Saudi Arabia, Pokemon video games quickly returned to be sold normally, but under much less demand from local consumers. Some Pokemon merchandise, such as the Expedition base set, reappeared in stores a few years later, but newer sets were never brought. Generation 3 and 4 games seemed completely unaffected by the ban. Pokemon Ranger GS Demo. I'll be honest, I looked into this, and I know the GS stands for Guardian Signs, but I'm not really sure what this is actually referring to. I think the interesting fact about this is that there is a demo version of the DS cartridge to play Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs that says not for resale, but those are kind of a thing that I feel are getting more and more well known by the community. So I'm not sure if there was some sort of other things you can do with this demo, and if you know, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate it. So I'll go ahead and move on to the next entry. Pokemon Center NYC. Nintendo New York, previously known as Nintendo World and the Pokemon Center, is the flagship specialty store of video game corporation Nintendo, located in 10 Rockefeller Plaza at Rockefeller Center in New York City. The two-story, 10,000 square foot store opened on May 14, 2005. The space was formerly called the Pokemon Center, which opened on November 16, 2001. It ran until January 2005 when it closed for remodeling, reopening as a Nintendo store 4 months later. I actually remember seeing this as a kid and having one of my neighbors that would go to New York to go to the Pokemon Center. And I've always wanted to visit it, especially with all the limited edition consoles that were out at the time. I miss you, Pokemon Center. We need one in the States. It's not fair. And that brings us to the end of Layer 5. Layer 6. Pokemon Festa RS Demo. Pokemon Festa is an annual convention held throughout various locations in Japan. It is sanctioned by Nintendo and features events, games, shopping, and previews of upcoming games and movies. The 2002 event gave further information about the games Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Those who came to the event were given the opportunity of playing through a demo of the games. Map Bank 27 contains 2 maps that were used in a demo version of the games playable at the Pokemon Festa 2002 event in Japan. The first map is a prototype version of the northern part of Route 104, in the final version connecting Rustboro City and Petalburg Woods. The actual map data of this map has been removed from the retail version, and only its event data remains. The map's dimensions in its header were also changed to 1 by 1, so its original size can only be assumed. The second map in this map bank is a prototype version of the Pretty Petal Flower Shop. Unlike the prototype Route 104, the Flower Shop map still has all its data. The trainers on the prototype Route 104 still have text associated with them, although it may have been deleted for some trainers as some were used in the final. Game Boy Printer. The Game Boy Printer is a thermal printer accessory compatible with the Game Boy line except for the Game Boy Micro, released on February 21st, 1998 in Japan and on June 1st, 1998 in the United States and June 4th, 1998 for Europe and Oceania. Alongside the Game Boy camera, it connects to the Game Boy using a Game Link cable, with a universal Game Link cable being included in the package. The Japan-only Special Pikachu Yellow Game Boy printer was also released alongside Pokemon Yellow on September 12, 1998. Players of Pokemon Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal are able to print the following: Pokédex stickers, diplomas, Pokemon storage system boxes, Party Pokemon, Pikachu's Beach High Score, which was exclusive to the Yellow version, Mail, Alph Ruin stamps. These two were exclusive to Gold, Silver, and Crystal. The quality of prints is managed in the options. The games use 3 messages during the process: checking, link, transmitting, and printing. Both the feature and its settings were removed in Korean versions of Gold and Silver, as the Game Boy printer was not released in South Korea. Players may also print out their high score tables in Pokemon Pinball. The Pokemon Trading Card Game and Pokemon Card GB2, Here Comes Team GR, offer 3 different printing features to players. Players may print out copies of a single card, a list depicting one of their custom deck configurations, or a list of every card they own in the game. I could actually see that list depicting their deck configurations being convenient for kids wanting to play real-life Pokemon TCG, and I think that's really cool. The Game Boy camera contains data for players to print out Pokemon stickers in addition to their photos. This is likely a nod to the fact that Game Freak programmed the Game Boy camera software. PMD RTG wiped Game Boy Advance saves. PMD RTG wiped Game Boy Advance saves is probably the most complex sounding entry in the Iceberg, but it's actually kind of simple. In Japanese copies of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, if you use the mode that connected to Red Rescue Team with another Game Boy Advance game in slot 2, the game would freeze and the Game Boy Advance game would have its saved wiped. Blue Rescue Team had to be recalled as a result. Gen 3 Event Berries. In Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, the games had an exclusive feature that allowed them to scan e-reader cards to obtain a special berry. Pokemon holding these berries were not allowed to be traded into other main series games, and Pokemon holding these berries were also not allowed to be traded to Pokemon Colosseum or XD Gale of Darkness, or transferred to the Pokemon box Ruby and Sapphire. Once you scan the e-reader card, you would be able to collect the berry from Norman in the Petalburg City Gym. The data for these e-card berries do not exist in the ROM of the Generation 3 games. When the berries would be brought into Generation 4, the berries would change into an Enigma berry. Pokemate. Pokemate is a mobile phone application in which players can catch Pokemon. The application allows players to send messages to other people on the user's friend list or chat with them. Players can select and capture Pokemon to keep in the storage feature of the application. They can also subscribe to the game in order to receive more Pokemates, Pokeballs, and other media. The game was only distributed in Japan, however it was presented in the United States during the 2006 E3 Summit. The service was discontinued in January 2008. This is the first official Pokemon mobile app, and it's quite easy to see that this is probably what the basis was for creating Pokemon Go. Perfect Spin to Horde. Perfect Spinda Horde is referring to a post made on May 1st, 2018 on the Pokemon fan site, PokeBeach. The subject of the post is rare occurrences in Pokemon. So the first post says, let's talk about the rarest things that could happen to you in Pokemon, other than Focus Blast hitting first turn, which is actually pretty funny. The second reply was made reading, a Horde battle with 5 shinies who all have Pokerus? I mean, you wouldn't know that they all have Pokerus, only the one you capture. A reply read after that, I have to one-up you here. A Horde containing 5 shiny Spinda, all with the same pattern. Each one has the best nature. Each one has perfect IVs. Each one has Pokerus. I know you can't prove most of these, but I'm pretty sure this is the rarest thing that can occur in the games. Not even remotely sure what the odds are of this though. Another user calculated those odds, and here they are. I don't know what this number is, I can't read them. Differently colored Pokemon. Before shiny Pokemon got their name in Gen 5, they were referred to by an NPC in Iceberg as differently colored Pokemon. Alternately colored Pokemon have made occasional appearances in the anime, with a pink Butterfree being one of the first to appear in Bye Bye Butterfree. Many alternately colored Pokemon appear in the Orange Island saga due to the setting's tropical climate. Shiny Pokemon have begun to make appearances in the anime during the Johto saga, after Gold and Silver were released. But the original intention by the creator of this Iceberg was to mention in Iceberg that shinies were only referred to as differently colored Pokemon. Zekrom/Reshiram fight with full box. Most people know that if you defeat Reshiram or Zekrom in black and white, it just lets you fight it until you catch it, even if you don't have any Pokeballs, and will continue to give you some. However, if your party and all your boxes are full, you will instead skip the fight and have the option to rematch it in the post-game at Dragon Spiral Tower. Lock Capsule. The Lock Capsule is an unobtainable key item that was first included in the game data of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It is not legitimately available in any game. The Lock Capsule's menu sprite differs between Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Pokemon Black and White. In Pokemon Black and White, it would have been the only way to obtain TM95 Snarl, but was never released. In Pokemon Black and White 2, TM95 can be obtained in regular gameplay. The Lock Capsule also contains a letter read by Mr. Lock upon opening it, reading, I entrust the technical machine in the Lock Capsule to a trustworthy trainer in the Unova region. Don't allow it to fall in the hands of villains like Team Rocket. The Director. In Pokemon X and Y, at the Lumio City News Building, one of the employees mentions the director who went to a cave with a legendary Pokemon. The only cave that fits the description, Terminus Cave, has no trace of this director, and he's just not at the news building, so I don't know if he made it back. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green Japanese font. In the Japanese version of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, the font of whoever's talking to you changes depending on what gender of the NPC that you're speaking to is, and that is the end of Layer 6. The final layer, Layer 7. Battle CDs 51 through 60. The battle CDs are items exclusive to Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. They are used to initiate battle sims at the Real Gam Tower. The player is given a team of Pokemon to use in the battle. Generally, there are turn limits to the battles, and the battles have a theme. The first time the player successfully completes a battle CD, a prize is awarded. There are 10 unobtainable battle CDs, numbered from 51 to 60, which share their content with the battle sims at the Pokemon HQ Lab. Pokemon VGC Plant Shooting 2015. This one's pretty real, so, just a little warning before. The Pokemon VGC Plant Shooting 2015 was something that happened, as you can tell, at the Video Game Championship in 2015. Threats were posted on a private Pokemon group and included references to Columbine, the Boston bombings, and the Boston Massacre, authorities said, prompting the moderator of the forum to contact the Pokémon Company International, setting off the chain of events that led to law enforcement stopping the men from entering the tournament. It also allegedly made personal threats to specific people who were attending the event. 2 people that were trying to shoot the VGC in 2015, James Dumbo, age 27, and Kevin Norton, of 18, were both from Iowa and had no prior criminal history before they were taken away. They also faced numerous gun charges after the police found weapons in their car parked outside a convention center in Boston. Boston Police Department Commander Superintendent Paul Fitzgerald said that they could have done a lot of damage, hurt a lot of people. He continued on to say that we went by the words they used. The same people who said the things they said brought the weapons that they said they would use. The Pokemon Company said, prior to the event this weekend, our community players made us aware of a security issue. We gathered information and gave it as soon as possible to the authorities at the John B. Hines Veterans Memorial Convention Center, who acted swiftly and spearheaded communication with the Boston Police Department. Due to quick action, the potential threat was resolved. Norton planned to shoot a Pokemon game moderator who had blocked him from the private social media forum, prosecutors said. Authorities said that they made references to what they were going to do, but didn't exactly spell out what the plan was. A search carried out Friday had revealed a trove of weapons and ammunition, including a 12-gauge Remington shotgun, a DPM-5 Model AR-15 rifle, several hundred rounds of ammunition, and a hunting knife, authorities said. Stumbo and Norton were arrested that Friday at the Red Roof Inn in Saugus, Massachusetts, after police discovered a shotgun, assault rifle, and 700 rounds of ammunition and a hunting knife in their vehicle. Both police and the Pokémon Company praised the swift action for mitigating what could have potentially been a nightmare at the tournament, which lasted through the weekend. I can only imagine like really being there and hearing that this was going on in the background, and as a company having to manage that and make sure that no one was harmed and stopping them. So it's good to hear that nothing bad truly happened and they were just seized. So let's go on to the next one. Burger King toys. In a $22 million Pokemon The First Movie promotion, which were contained within round Pokeball containers measuring from 2.75 and 3 inches in diameter. Burger King distributed the Pokeballs inside Big Kids meals and regular kids meals. It was arranged to last for 8 weeks from early December through December 1999. The containers ranged from red and white to hot pink. The containers were made by Equity Marketing in Los Angeles. The container could be opened by pulling 2 halves of it apart. 10 days into the promotion, Burger King North America President Paul Clayton ran full-page newspaper ads apologizing for shortages. Sadly, on December 11, 1999, a 13-month-old girl in Sonora, California, suffocated on the container and was found dead, deceased in her playpen with half the ball covering her nose and mouth. And following her death, the Tuolumne County Sheriff's Department issued a warning about the containers. This was the first time a Burger King toy was blamed for a death. 2 days later, the Consumer Product Safety Commission asked Burger King to recall the containers, which Burger King refused to do. They stated that they were afraid to create anxiety for parents, as it was too soon to confirm whether the ball was responsible for the child's death, wanting to wait for an independent confirmation of the cause of death. The autopsy results had not been completed and released at the time. Burger King spokesperson Kim Miller stated that if it turned out the container was a choking hazard, they would pull them out. However, they did not want to enter promotion if there was no issue with it. The toys found in the containers were not part of the proposed recall. I decided not to go into further detail about how other children had died because it is really sad, and I do want to respect the people that have passed away and their families, because I couldn't imagine something like this happening. It's just terrible that Burger King just kind of took away the blame and said like, no, we spent all this money, like come on, like shut up. And I'm sure you might have seen it if you've seen other Icebergs where they talk about the recall campaign, which includes a very jarring TV ad that says, with like no music on, to like not to take your toys back to the store because of this whole worry. It's just crazy, and it's really sad that just like, I don't even want to sound like that, but you know, it's just that type of corporate greed. But let's move on from this because it is really sad. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Gold. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gold Rescue Team was a free demo of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team, and it could be downloaded by players who registered an account on the official Korean Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Special Players site. The demo was released exclusively in South Korea on August 11, 2007. Pokemon AGB. The Pokemon AGB was the placeholder name for the original Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire Game Boy Advance games. Certain text refers to Pokemon AGB. Pokemon AGB was the placeholder name for the original Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire Game Boy Advance games. Certain text refers to Pokemon AGB, which appears to be short form for Pokemon Advance Game Boy, the once tentative title for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. They are presumably from the initial stages of development. Draco Meteor's name was chosen by fans. In December 2005, prior to the release of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, CoroCoro Comics ran a contest where fans could name the strongest Dragon-type move. Draco Meteor was the move that won this contest. On the Japanese website Pokeani, the choice was announced as Ryu Seagun, which was selected from about 10,000 entries as the best work of the new move contest of the strongest dragon move that appears in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, recruited in the January issue of CoroCoro Comic. This is a rough translation, but on the Japanese website Pokeani, the choice was announced as such. Ryu Seagun was selected from about 10,000 entries as the best work of the new move contest of the strongest dragon move that appears in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, recruited in the January issue of CoroCoro Comic. And I agree, Draco Meteor is a really cool name. Berry Juice is unobtainable in Gen 3. Berry Juice is unobtainable in Gen 3 refers back to the entry for the Altering Cave earlier. I purposely didn't say anything because I thought I'd leave it here. The Altering Cave was planned to distribute different Pokemon using the mystery gift feature at Wonder Spots, which were in-person Nintendo hosted spots that were never utilized. Had the distribution been used, then encountering Shuckle in this area would have been the only way to obtain the Berry Juice in Generation 3. Instead, the item is entirely unobtainable. 911 Encounter Rate. Data miners went into the source code of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and found a very specific set of encounter rates changing on certain days. On days dedicated to remembering tragedies, such as 9/11 and the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Pokemon are 10% less likely to appear in all areas of the games. Pokemon are also less likely to spawn on holidays such as Christmas, Culture Day, New Year's Eve, and the spring and fall equinox. However, these other holidays have only a 5% decrease in spawn rate, unlike anniversaries for tragedies. The hackers also revealed that Pokemon were more likely to spawn on certain holidays as well. Those holidays include Christmas Eve, the 4th of July, and St. Patrick's Day. National holidays in other countries were also taken into consideration and given boosted spawn rates, such as Italy's Italian Liberation, Japan's National Foundation Day, and Germany's Volkstrotag. I think I pronounced that wrong. It is speculated that this feature was included in the game to encourage fans to play more during specific festivities, while inversely stay away from the game in order to spend time with family and memorialize incidents. And there you have it. That's the Pokemon Iceberg. I hope you learned something new because I definitely did. Feel free to leave me a comment telling me which fact was something new for you. If you also have a suggestion for my next Iceberg, please feel free to also leave a comment. Also, please help me with the YouTube algorithm by leaving a like. I appreciate all the love, so thank you for all the views, subs, comments, and likes on my last Iceberg video. I plan on working on more Iceberg videos, so feel free to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. I also plan on covering other obscure video game facts and trivia, just because the researching is so much fun for me. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at What'sUpNate. Check out my podcast, The Sleepy Gamer Podcast. We are the coziest podcast on the internet. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, words can't really come close to how much all this recent support truly means to me from the bottom of my heart. It makes me emotional, so just thank you so much. I'll see you on my next video, but until then, take care and have a great day. Bye.